Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC in Christ Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182, on Charter Communications, that's local to North Alabama. You can also find us syndicated on Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Check out the podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be sending me emails after this show right now. When is the yard sale? You can send that email to donna@donnasedge.com. I have with me right now a very special guest. His name is Daniel Rogers. Daniel, welcome to the show. So what are we going to be talking about today?
Yes, Miss Donna, we're going to be talking about the yard sale that's going to be at the North Broad Street Church of Christ this weekend, August the 4th and the 5th. But it's not just the yard sale. There's also going to be a bake sale on Saturday, as well as a car wash from 10:30 to 1:30. And the car wash is free, but all the proceeds from the yard sale and the bake sale are actually going to our youth group here at the North Broad Street Church of Christ.
Oh, that is awesome. You know, I've been to your yard sales, and I'm just going to tell you, you can find some really, really awesome stuff. And my husband loves it because I love tools as much as he does.
Oh, yeah.
And so I found some really cool tools out there at such a good price.
Yeah. One time, the Lions Club got a huge donation of books, and it was from apparently someone who was either a just really dedicated Bible student, or maybe a pastor, or the son of a pastor or daughter of a pastor. And I got a lot of good theology books from the art sale one weekend. So there's something for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. My son is actually going to Southeastern in Wake Forest, North Carolina. Yeah. And so yeah, he likes to catch those as well. And saves a lot of money on textbooks. Or if you're just a study of the Bible, I mean, just a great thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know, books, they're not cheap. You can ask my wife, they eat away at the bank account. So anytime you find a deal at a yard sale, or sometimes libraries will have those $1 or $2 book sales, that's the place to be for sure. At least for me. Absolutely
grab them. And who cares if they've been written in? Sometimes those notes are really good.
Sometimes the notes are better than the book itself.
Sometimes. So let's talk about your role with the Lions Club. And what's the Lions Club all about?
Sure. So I've been in the Lions Club for 2 years now. My friend Chuck Carter, he was a district governor in South Florida. He actually paid my membership for the Lions Club for 2 years. And so I've been in the Lions Club for 2 years, and I've been involved in various ways. I thought about being an officer at one point, but then I had a baby and started finishing out my bachelor's degree. So that ended up being a little bit more time consuming than I thought it would be. But what I basically do is volunteer whenever I can. Whether it's the yard sale, whether it's a vision screening, those are personally my favorites to do are the vision screenings. And that's what the Lions Club is primarily known for, I would say, is their work with vision, paying for eye exams, paying for glasses, paying for some surgeries, or assisting with paying for some surgeries. The Lions Club does a lot of work with vision. And if you've been in a local grocery store or hardware store, or even a lot of churches, you'll notice a little box that has the Lions Club logo on it, where you can drop off old glasses and things like that to donate to their work. So that's what the Lions Club is primarily known for, is working with vision. And with vision, I think
that's pretty awesome. Now, how does somebody qualify for the vision advantage?
Sure. So what we do with the vision screening, for example, is anyone who does not have vision insurance can stop by the church building, or maybe one time we did it at the community free store in Boaz. It's kind of like a food pantry for Boaz. People can come in and we'll put them in a dark room, and we use this nifty little camera looking thing. It almost looks like one of those. Do you remember those toys you had when you were a kid, where you put the film strip in and you click the button and it rotated it around? You could see all the pictures.
Mine, I'm sure, looked a lot older than yours.
I had a red one with like a yellow switch, and when you flicked
like a film viewer thing, and you would just do this.
And it would rotate to all the different scenes. Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. And so it takes probably 15 seconds. The person sits in front of you in the dark room. You get just the right distance from them. And then this camera scans their eyes and tells you their prescription. It tells you what might be maybe some other correction, astigmatism or something like that. And then we give them a printout, and they take it to to DHR, and DHR actually does the qualifying work for us. And then once they're qualified, the Lions Club can assist from their funds to help that person get their exam, an actual eye exam from an eye doctor, or maybe go to that surgery that they need. And so our job is sort of to find all the people who need the help and then get them qualified through DHR, and then we can assist them from our funds. So
I think that is absolutely amazing. Yeah. I know a lot of senior citizens who could really use that help.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the surprising one is kids. A lot of kids that are going back to school, they really could use that eye exam because they may not have eye insurance, and they may have problems seeing the board, to read what's on the PowerPoint or what the teacher's writing up there. Yeah. And since they don't have maybe the language or the knowledge to go, hey, I think my eyesight's bad, they might think, well, I just can't see it, and not even know that something's really wrong. And so having that eye screening can give the parents a lot of information that their kids may not have the vocabulary to even tell them about, right? So
I think that's really awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I'm going to get that word out there for you because I know a lot of folks who could probably use that help. Absolutely. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the yard sale itself. I love yard sales, and a lot of my shows are. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be there.
Oh, great.
Not sure which day, but you said they're going to be Friday or Saturday. And so I'm going to be doing some little short videos, and I'll see something I like because I'm also a crafter. So think about this. If you're a crafter, I mean, you may find exactly what you're looking for. And so I'm going to take a few little short videos, and then I'll have some shows made out of being at your yard sale. Really
that's great. That's great. And you might be a crafter. I know we have Loretta. At our congregation, she likes to make greeting cards and things like that. And then the other thing that some people like to do at our yard sales is buy an old piece of furniture and restore it. We've had some awesome china cabinets and entertainment centers and things like that at first look you'd say who would want that, but then with a little bit of love, it can be a beautiful piece for your home and much cheaper than you'd get at a furniture store.
I know Loretta because she and I have been to yard sales before.
Yeah.
And she and I have that same eye. Somebody else would be walking, like you just said, someone else would walk by it and go, who'd want that? And then I will look at it, or Loretta will, and it's like, I gotta have it. And people around us will be looking at us like, what? And then this is what's happened before. I went to a friend's yard sale once and I bought something. She was just going to take it out to the curb. And she wanted like $5. It was just, and I said, are you sure? I don't mind paying you more for it because of what I'm going to do to. Then I repaired it. I did what I wanted to do with it. She comes to the house and she wanted it back. And I said, no way. You need to think twice about that. But now what if someone they're just cleaning house, they're downsizing, whatever, and they want to give this stuff to you guys? What do they need to do?
Yeah. So it's best to get it to us before the Thursday that's before the yard sale. So we typically have we typically have this yard sale at the first of every month, the first weekend of every month on Friday and Saturday. The Lions Club is partnered with the North Broad Street Church of Christ to use their fellowship hall in order to display all the goods and have a nice cooled place to look through everything.
Cool place, yes.
Yeah, cool place by Thursday. Whatever the Thursday is before the first weekend of the month, because that's when we're setting up and getting everything laid out and all that. And so that'd be the best time. But if you bring it anytime, even on that Friday or Saturday, we'll throw it in there with everything and, get it all boxed back up and put back in storage at the end of the week. And so you can drop it off whenever, but preferably before the first weekend of the month so we can get it displayed and out there with everything else.
Yeah. And this is a good idea too for people who have estate sales. Maybe the parents passed away and the kids, they just don't want their stuff. They already have a house full of furniture or whatever. And so, just bring it by, right? And
yeah, that's right.
So do they need to call first?
It'd be best to call, but our office hours at the church, I actually work at this church too. That's how we got the partnership with the between the church and the Lions Club. Right. Our office hours are from 8 to 4, Monday through Thursday. And so call first for sure. But if you just happen to be driving by and you got a bag full of coats that you're going to take to the thrift store or something already, you can stop by and give it to us and we'll get it in the storage.
Absolutely.
And the thing about it is the Lions Club partners with a different organization every month to assist them in raising funds. So I know that we had the volunteer fire department here a couple months ago. We've had a woman's shelter. We've had a drug rehabilitation program at a church in Arab that came out and helped us. We've had sometimes not an organization at all, sometimes a family that needed to raise some money for an upcoming surgery or procedure. Or at one point we had someone's house burnt down and they lost everything. And we were able to use the proceeds from the yard sale to assist in that. And so the money goes to no individual as a for-profit thing. It's all nonprofit supporting people and supporting ministries we believe in. So,
are you looking for some volunteers to help with the yard sale?
Anybody can always volunteer. Just the best person to contact would be Brian and Renee Bright from the Lions Club. And you can just find their information by looking up the Lions Club in Guntersville, Alabama, and contacting them through there. They're always looking for people to load, but also not only to unload everything, but also to load everything back up. Getting the fellowship hall cleaned up after the yard sale takes a whole lot of work. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, especially because Sunday's the next day. And so we try to have everything cleaned up on Saturday before the people who come for Bible class and worship show up the next day. So
that's just being a good steward. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's cut into a commercial break and we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Everybody hang in.
You have been at this for 12 years. Why are you doing it?
Because God's children are not for sale.
Rated PG-13.
The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, My Pillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere My Pillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of My Pillow. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our My Pillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 My Pillows and 2 Go Anywhere My Pillows, regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna, and I am your host of The Edge. You can find us on television channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundant Television, found on Roku TV, Amazon, Apple, all kinds of great ways you can find us. Also, the podcast. Don't forget that, netnewsnetwork.net. And also, we're going to be coming up with another podcast avenue for you as well. I have with me Daniel Rogers, and he's with the Lions Club. I love the Lions Club. I absolutely love it. And I've interviewed quite a few of you guys, and normally we always get to the topic of eyeglasses. Does that also include sunglasses? Because sometimes people need sunglasses with, to be able to see out of the sunglasses.
I don't know if anybody's ever gotten the transition lens with us before. I know that our target audience is, people who come from low income houses. And so usually they're just wanting the bare minimum what they can get so they can see and operate on a day-to-day basis. But hey, I'll tell you what, there might be some sunglasses at the yard sale this weekend.
Right, yeah, and at a very, very good price as well. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the youth. This is for the youth.
Yes,
is that right? Let's talk about the youth and what they're doing. They do special things for the community and abroad.
Yeah, so the youth group here at North Broad, we try to be mission minded, and we're a bit of a smaller group than what we used to be back in the day, but the group that we have is very serious and dedicated to their walk in Christ, and they really are service oriented. And so they're going to be right alongside us this weekend, helping us to set up the yard sale and wash cars on Saturday and assist in the bake sale. So they're going to be right there with us. And one of the things that we would like to do as a youth group, and it's hard to do with the numbers that we have, but we're trying to work on it, is to reach people who don't have a church home and who maybe don't have the best home life. Maybe they've never had access to good spiritual teaching or to good service opportunities. And so that's one thing that we want to make our youth group into is a place where people can come to not only obviously get to know Jesus and discover eternal life, but also to serve and give back to the community around them as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my son is a youth minister.
Oh, that's great.
He said, some things that we took for granted growing up, some of these kids never been inside a church before. They have no idea there is hope. Let's talk about hope because of COVID, it's been still going through depression. It just caused a lot of chaos with our youth. So let's talk about what is hope.
Well, hope. Paul talks a lot about hope in, of course, the book of Romans, Romans chapter 5 and Romans chapter 8. But to me, hope is full confidence in what God has said is going to happen. It's not just wishful thinking, and it's not just a sort of a fleeting feeling. "Oh, I hope this happens," but it's an expectation of what's to come. It's knowing that it's around the corner. Paul talked about in Romans 4 how Abraham had faith in God because God is the kind of God who can call things into being that do not yet exist and give life to the dead. And so for me, hope is way more than just a fleeting kind of, I hope it happens, but it's an expectation of what's to come.
Well, the world is just full of bad news. I mean, every time you turn, even commercials on television, it's like all bad stuff,
Yeah.
So let's talk to the parents right now. How can they actually help their young folks at home to, I would say, turn the TV off?
Yes.
Be very selective is what you say. But what message would you like to give the parents?
Well, Mr. Rogers said that whenever you're watching a tragedy unfold, whether it's on the news or on the news feed, on social media, he said, look for the helpers. Look for the people that are doing good, because we're out there. They're out there. The news likes to amplify the negative because that draws views. It capitalizes on people's fears. But if we trust in the God of heaven and earth, that his will be done, as the scripture affirms again and again, then being able to see the good even in the bad is a way to not only give ourselves confidence and peace and hope, but it's a way to model for our children what a Christ-centered universe actually looks like. It's a way of showing them, this bad stuff happens, but this bad stuff is not going to have the final say. Our God's going to have the final say. And these little glimmers of someone stopping to help the person on the side of the road, or the person who's, there's a house fire and they're going into the flames to save the people inside. That's a glimpse of who our Father is. And I feel like if we learn to point those things out, it not only helps ourselves, but it'll help out our children as well. So amidst all the chaos, point to the beauty and point to the good that's in the world.
And there's a line of it. Let's talk now to kids. Maybe you don't have the best home life. Maybe they're being raised by their grandparents, and grandparents are just, it would be tough to be a grandparent right now raising a kid because of the technology, because the kids are way ahead of you when it comes to weird websites and Facebook and stuff like that. What can a grandparent possibly do just to kind of stay on top of things?
Grandparents, it'd be best for them to make friends with their kids, the kids they're taking care of, because their grandchildren want to have a relationship with them, and their grandchildren would be more than happy to teach them and to include them in their technology life. And while it's important for them to cultivate a relationship outside of technology, I think it's important for grandparents not to stay, I don't want to say stuck, but expect the world to get back to the way that it used to be, because
never going to be.
Yeah, unless an EMP drops and we lose all of our electronics, these cell phones and tablets are here to stay. And so I think it's best for the grandparents to meet the kids where they're at and try to meet them on that level and be a friend to their grandchild so that they can learn what their grandkids love, even if it's a bit foreign to them. I think that's a huge act of love, and it might take some sacrifice on their part, but it'll open up doors for relationship building that will last a lifetime, more than a lifetime.
And I got some good news for you. My husband and I used to help with a youth group as well.
Yeah.
And the kids actually liked structure. I mean, they did. They act like they don't. There's that, no, I want to do it my way kind of thing, but they actually like guidance.
Yes. Yeah, they do. People think that guidance is sort of bondage. I want to do it my way. I want to have freedom. But whenever we're left to our own devices, we get ourselves into all kinds of trouble and pain and distress. And so the guidance is welcome, as long as it's not, an overbearing my way or the highway kind of guidance. It's a very welcome thing in the child's life.
Absolutely great things. Now, the kids in your youth group are doing great things. So let's talk a little about some of the things they've done, maybe some of the missionary works they've done.
Yeah. So Like I mentioned before, our church is, our youth group is not as large as it used to be. So we're not able to afford some of the mission work and trips that other churches are able to do on a yearly basis with all the funds and whatnot that they have. But one thing that we have tried to do with our youth is create them into disciples who make disciples. And so when we have an event or maybe just a worship service on Sunday, it's amazing how many people these youth will bring in to be a part of what they're doing. Not just, inviting them to sporting events or things like that, but inviting them to be a part of their faith life as well. And so right now we're in sort of a rebuilding stage where we're trying to teach them to be missionaries in their own community, in their own schools, and be disciples who are making disciples. And so it's tough work because we've been told our whole lives that you're not supposed to talk about religion or politics. And so how do you make disciples in a culture like that? But we're trying to show them how to bridge those gaps through community service and through being willing to be bold in their faith. And so that's what we're working on currently. I would love to take them on a mission trip abroad down the road, but right now we're in that rebuilding stage where it's hard to be able to do stuff like that at this moment. Yeah.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
We
went on a missionary trip to Africa, and I'm going to tell you what, it was as a matter of fact, my son and my daughter-in-law were in Africa at the same time, different churches, and didn't see each other that day. But then later on, after they got married, they said, one of them mentioned, we went to South Uganda. And Larissa said, we did too. When did you go to South Uganda? And it just happened to be the same week. Two different churches, didn't see each other there, but you just never know. And let's talk just for a minute about marrying. Don't think about marriage yet, kids. You got plenty of time. But when that time comes, how important is it to marry a believer if you're a believer?
Well, for one, that takes away a lot of tough conversations and a lot of unnecessary tension in your life, especially as a young adult. You already have a lot to deal with. If you've took out student loans, you got to worry about those. If you're trying to survive in this economy, you got to worry about that. And so throwing on top of that, coexisting with a person who doesn't share your faith is extremely hard burden to take on for any person, but especially a young person in the world as it is right now. And it's as Paul talked about in 1 Corinthians, it's important to find someone who understands you, because in a time of distress, that's the person you have to depend upon. And if you can't go to them and say, hey, can you pray with me? Hey, can you pray for me? Hey, can we study this thing? That'd be a very lonely life. One piece of advice that was given to me was, do not date someone that you wouldn't marry. And you'd say, well, how do I know that? Well, you'll know pretty well after the first couple of dates of whether or not you could put up with that person for a long period of time. And so don't date someone that you wouldn't marry. Don't put yourself into a compromising situation that's not beneficial for you and your faith. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I asked my daughter-in-law once, actually I've asked her several times, what did you see in him? You're such a beautiful girl. They're perfect for each other. Okay, so we're about to go. Just about 30 seconds left in the segment. Okay. Where can folks go, and what's the date?
Okay, North Broad Street Church of Christ. That's on 308 North Broad Street in Albertville, Alabama. August the 4th and the 5th from about 7:30, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. in the afternoon, both days.
That's perfect. Thank you so much, Daniel. I'm very proud of you, and thank you for what you're doing with those kids.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for watching The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. And don't forget that yard sale. Get some good deals. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you.